the campus of Clearview High School in Mullica Hill, New Jersey, Channel 5's Gloucester County Educational Network presents high school football. Tonight, it's the Eastern Vikings visiting the Clearview Pioneers. Hello again, everyone. Rob Christ along with my partner, Fred Swartz. A cold, crisp evening, maybe getting down into the 30s tonight. Unlike typical October weather, despite that, both of these teams are going to bring the heat tonight. It is Eastern taking on Clearview, two teams that have not faced one another historically. Should be an interesting matchup, and both teams really need this win tonight. Fred, let's first talk about the visiting Vikings. Eastern coming off a tough loss to Williamstown. They really need this win in order to stake a place in the postseason.
Well, despite where they rank with a 3-2 record, they have 60 power points. It currently ranks them second in Group 5, but the schedule is very, very difficult as time goes along. But the fans are really going to enjoy watching them tonight, Rob. They're wide open football, they're shotgun spread, there's no huddle, they go all the way across the field, they throw the ball 65% of the time, and they're just going to be exciting to watch. And if they can move, their skill players are so good. If they can just get the ball out to them, I think it's going to be a very interesting night for Clearview.
Well, on the other side of the football, you mentioned Clearview. Clearview comes into this game, kind of the surprise of South Jersey. Last year struggled a little bit, but head coach Mark Deal said this is a team that has great chemistry, and it has really translated into quite a season.
Yeah, you're correct. I mean, they're 4-1. They're number 2 in Group 4 power points with 60 points also, and the complete opposite type of a team. They run the Flexbone, which was started by Paul Johnson down in Georgia Southern, took it to the Naval Academy, now it's at Georgia Tech. It's a combination of the wing tee and the wishbone. So it's going to be control the football, eat up the clock, move the chains. They're going to run the ball 85% of the time. They've only thrown 30 passes in 5 games. So they're going to try to shorten the game and keep Eastern's offense off the field.
Well, let's talk about that Eastern offense. They are led by Tom Flacco. Of course, the name should ring a bell. His brother Joe, the quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. And you know, Fred, Tom Flacco leads South Jersey in passing. One thing people don't realize, he's not just the thrower. He is an exceptional athlete.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was very much enjoying Coach Spittle telling me about how much he's matured as a quarterback. He just reads defenses well, he checks off at the line, he understands exactly what they're going to do. Of course, I'm sure he had a little bit of help from Joe. I had to throw watching Joe for 4 years, so I'm sure that helps along the line.
Well, on the other side of the ball, their quarterback, Mitch Harbaugh, he's kind of a jack of all trades. He's the punter, he's the kicker, he's the defensive back, he's the quarterback, and they really rely on him.
And that always scared me as a coach when your quarterback was out on defense trying to make tackles. But he is the quintessential quarterback to run their offense. He reads the option well, he's not afraid to tuck it and run, and he can also throw the football.
Clearview comes into this game with a couple key injuries. We'll see how that plays out. It is very windy here on the field. Flacco and the Vikings love to throw the football. That may hinder them a bit. Clearview, as Fred mentioned, likes to keep it on the ground. Should be an interesting contrast in styles. We'll have the kickoff for you in just a moment. Welcome back to Clearview High School. There you see Ed Kehoe, the kicker, the talented kicker of the Eastern Vikings, ready to kick things off here, and we are underway at Clearview High School. Line drive taken inside the 10-yard line, looking for a seam, and now bouncing off a tackler, cuts it back inside, shakes another tackle, still on his feet, a fine run, and Clearview will start things at about their 29-yard line. Strong effort to start things here from George Karasinis.
Yeah, it was quite an interesting return that he had there, Rob. Kind of looking for the whole each way. Special teams, kickoffs, punts, all things, definitely an indicator of how the game's going to go, and I think that's a nice plus for Clearview.
Well, I know that Coach Dan Spittle of the Eastern Vikings, that was a point of emphasis for him. He needed to win the special teams play today. Harbaugh, your quarterback, right up the middle, 2 yards in a cloud of dust. On the carry is Coles. We mentioned in the pregame that there were some injuries here, and probably the biggest injury is their big fullback Pacheco is out with flu symptoms.
And Rob, that'll make a big difference because he's an instrumental part of their offense. Their leading ball carrier, also plays linebacker on defense.
Adam Pacheco is really a guy that has been the
perhaps the most important part of that offense, and their ball control. Second down, we'll call it 8. Inside and bouncing off the tackle is Coles, but not a whole lot there. And this Eastern line not giving up much.
Great fill that time when you get to see that again by number 4 of Eastern. I think that's David Wilcox. Filled that area quickly because the hole was there, and just closed down quickly.
Rob Hart, you saw Hart, a big part of this Eastern defense as well. He has played exceptionally well thus far for the Vikings. Third down, we'll call it 6. Harbaugh will hand it off. And again, not much doing there, so they'll keep it on the ground. And it's 3 and out here. This is a good stand and a good start for Eastern. And speaking with Coach Dan Spittle of the Eastern Vikings, he said that one of the other keys to this game is making sure that they simply get the football. This is a team that really relies on ball control. Eastern. Back to receive the punt of Harbaugh. And it's blocked. It's blocked. Eastern picks it up, scooped, and they're going to be in the end zone for a touchdown. Tom Struckis picks up the loose football and runs it in. Eastern on top, 6-0, and their offense is yet to touch the football.
What a backbreaker there for Clearview. First of all, you get stopped on your first drive on a 3 and out, then get the punt back, and it goes in for the touchdown. Huge lift for Eastern.
Well, special teams, as I mentioned, a point of emphasis for this Eastern team, and they come up with 6 early. Kehoe leading South Jersey in kicking on to attempt the point after. And a whistle blows, we have a penalty.
When we were doing our prep for this particular game, Kehoe has 5 field goals and is including one of 40 yards, which makes Eastern a threat every time they cross midfield.
Kehoe probably with range of about 45 yards. And as you mentioned, only missing 1 field goal thus far this season. So Levikoff, your holder for Kehoe. Kick is up, and it is good. Eastern quickly here, striking first on top 7-0 with 9:53 left in the first quarter. Fred, I would be remiss if I did not mention, for full disclosure purposes, I am a teacher and a coach of Eastern High School, so I'm very familiar with these players. And I just want that to be out there so that there's no question about that, in the best interest of...
And we all know the professional job that you do on the microphone, so that's never an issue. I guess I could share the same thing, because when I was the AD of Audubon High School, I hired Mark Deal, who's the coach of Clearview, so we're all going to have fun tonight.
So Eastern on top 7-0. We mentioned before that the wind is a factor here. Right now it is Clearview playing into the wind, so one of the reasons why they ran the football repeatedly. Let's take a look at this block.
Pretty good snap, and boy, just a great effort by the Eastern punt blocker at the time. It's picked up very quickly and run right into the end zone.
Again, we talked about some of the injuries for this Clearview team. Their long snapper, Paul Rucci, is out, and he's been out for the whole year, so that may play a role as well. Here's the return across the 15 to the 20, finding a seam right up the middle. Across the 35 to the 39-yard line. A fine return once again by George Karasinis.
Yeah, George really took that ball quickly. You know, it's funny, sometimes balls that kind of bounce around and move around are so hard to defend because you kind of let up to see what happens, and that would work for the process for George Karasinis.
Well, first down and 10 once again. Excellent field position here for the Pioneers. Ball spotted just inside the 40-yard line. We mentioned that Harbaugh typically keeps the ball on the ground. We'll see how things play out here. Saracinis in motion. Again, right up the middle, and not a whole lot there.
And when our fans get to take a look, this Eastern basic defense is what we call a 5-3 stack, where they have 3 down linemen, ends that can either line up or come right down, and the linebackers go right behind the defensive tackles and the nose guard and all do gaps. So it's really an 8-man front that Clearview has to go against, and Eastern is really telling Clearview to throw the football.
There you take a look at King Ayeni, who has been a nice surprise for this Eastern Vikings team. Second down, we'll call it 10. Harbaugh pitches. Stringing it outside, still staying on his feet, but unable to get much after the second hit was Nahir Nelson, the sophomore halfback.
And a great form tackle there by Ryan Delaney. And then from his free safety position. But Clearview got to see something. They took the ball outside a little bit instead of the inside and had some openings. So that may be part of their game plan for the second half.
Now, we did talk about Tom Flacco at the top, but maybe the best athlete on this team is Eli Woodard, ranked as the number 7 player in the country. He's already committed to Ohio State University. Third down. Harbaugh pitches. Nelson has one man to beat and unable to do so, knocked out of bounds at about the 43-yard line. So the team that typically controls the ball has had 2 straight series where it has been 3 and out. A fine play there by Eastern's number 22, Anthony Gardner.
And definitely not what Clearview wanted to do. They ran a little counter option that time to see what they could throw the linebackers off, but no deal.
Gardner back to receive. He's right in the middle of that pink ribbon here for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. A nice touch by this Clearview administration. Did somebody touch the football? That's the question. Clearview is indicating that it was touched, and in fact it has been. Wow. A turnover here. Sloppy play on special teams by both teams thus far, and a big break for the Clearview Pioneers.
Rob, it's funny, we talked all pregame about offense and what we were going to see on the field. Special teams has so far taken the lead role.
Here you see Mark Deal speaking with Mitch Harbaugh right now. Deal, as you mentioned, was the coach at Audubon High School, where he coached Tom Flacco's brother Joe, now with the Ravens.
Oh my, it hit the foot. It hit the foot of number 26 right off the bat as he was just trying to get out of the way.
Kevin Hunley unable to avoid contact with the football. A big break here for the Pioneers. We'll see if they can take advantage. First down and 10 for Clearview. Quick drop, throw, slant pattern, and nothing doing there.
Now, Mark Deal's been very famous during his time. For the first set of 10 plays, he usually sets up in advance. That was definitely a deviation because they only throw the ball 35 times in the entire season. So I think he's looking for opportunities to get first downs.
Troy Darpino, the senior wide receiver, the intended receiver. Second down and 10 for Harbaugh and the Pioneers. In motion, it's Karasinis. Harbaugh will keep, and he's hit immediately. He'll pick up 1 or 2, but not a whole lot there. Right now, it is Eastern winning the battle of the trenches.
And once again, when you're running the option, Eastern's defense has to play assignment football. Somebody has to play the quarterback, somebody has to play the fullback, somebody has to play the pitchback. David Wilcox, that's his second big-time play from his linebacker position. Again,
Eastern here trying to make it 3 straight 3 and outs. Third down, we'll call it 8. Darpino at the bottom of your screen. Harbaugh rolls to his right, in the pocket, throws it up, has a man, and it floats away from his intended receiver. That was Mike Williamson.
And that time we saw a little different straight drop back and a deep flag pattern by Williamson, who was open. But in this wind, I think it really held up the ball for Harbaugh.
So fourth down, and again, it's 3 straight 3 and outs. So despite the turnover, Gardner back to receive the punt of Clearview. And they fake. Quick snap to the up man, and he's not going to get enough. He'll get to about the 37-yard line. Rolling the dice here early, it's Mark Deal, but instead of a first down, it's going to be turned over. A good idea given the fact that Probably not going to gain a whole lot with this punt, and maybe a little bit nervous from the earlier punt attempt.
And that's a very good possibility, but it makes you think, I mean, that usually you're going to run a fake punt, it's usually in the third or fourth quarter.
First down and 10 for Eastern. This is the first time we'll take a look at number 14, Tommy Flacco, and this Eastern Vikings offense. Flacco, as we mentioned, leading all of South Jersey in passing yards, and he has done an exceptional job guiding this offense. Out of the eye. Flacco will hand off right up the gut. It's Gardner. Gardner into the secondary, and he'll pick up about 14.
And surprising, came right out in an I formation, a set running position. And Clearview had been definitely worried about Gardner, who also has great genes because his sister, English Gardner, made it all the way to the finals of the U.S. Olympic trials in the 100-meter dash.
She was an exceptional athlete during her time at Eastern, now running track at Oregon. We have a personal foul against Clearview, so right now Clearview shooting itself in the foot. Let's take a look at some of the after the whistle business.
Oh, little shot. Oh, look at this. We had an elbow to the head and a push to the head, so that was definitely a deserving 15-yard penalty.
Gardner, not very big, but does have good field awareness. First down and 10, again out of the eye. Flacco, play action, has time, across the middle, has a man wide open, touchdown! Touchdown of Flacco finds Eli Woodard. And just like that, you see the lethal arm of Flacco, but this is coming back, Fred.
Yes, I see the flag right about the 36-yard line, which would be in the backfield, and unfortunately, that's probably going to be a hold.
Well, Flacco had a lot of time, and perhaps that is why.
Well, I was impressed. First of all, the coolness of Flacco under fire was incredible, and how wide open the receiver was in the end zone.
Flacco at this point getting interest from Stanford University and the University of Maryland. I think as the season progresses, he's going to get a lot more interest. First down on about 22. Gardner stretches it outside, and he'll be thrown down at about the 41-yard line after a pickup of about 5.
And that was our first look at the shotgun spread. Off that, you can run so many plays, and boy, when you have a back that can run like Gardner can run, boy, that's a definite threat.
Second down, we'll call it 18. Flacco once again out of the shotgun. Takes the handoff, a lot of time. Across the middle, has his man, and just over his intended receiver, looking for Keyshawn Seegers, one of his favorite targets.
You know what, Rob, surprised me? We were checking on the stats when everything came down. Eastern has 4 receivers that average close to 15 to 20 yards every time they catch the football. We've seen Flacco throw both passes. Both receivers have been wide open, and the passes have really been close to being on target on both of them.
Well, we've seen Seegers and Woodard, ironically, both of them with 314 yards to lead the team coming into tonight. Third down and long for Flacco and the Vikings. Deep drop, Flacco with time, and you see the arm strength, finds his man in the flat, cuts inside the 10-yard, and slung out of bounds is Ryan Delaney.
Boy, what a dart thrown by Tommy Flacco. He rolled a little bit off to the left and just threw a dart back to the right. There's no way you can stop that pass. Outstanding arm strength.
Flacco and the Vikings, after that long third down, are now in striking distance. First down and goal. Again, they'll work out of the shotgun. As Gardner hands it to Gardner, he'll stretch it outside. A little shimmy and a shake, and Gardner is brought down.
Now we get a chance to watch this effort. Watch how this thing comes right on the dart. Wide open, great catch, great move. Kind of hard to stop, Rob.
Flacco finds Delaney. Second down and goal, and once again they'll go out of the eye. Flacco, quick drop, has his man, it's Woodard, throws it up, and it is ruled incomplete. Incomplete.
Now, it's interesting, our viewers will get a chance to this. In high school football, all you have to have is 1 foot in bounds. I think when we get a chance, if we got a chance to see that again, I think Woodard probably had 1 foot in bounds and 1 foot out of bounds, but that was another great throw by Flacco.
You see the size of Woodard, and you couple that with tremendous speed. Now you understand why he's so highly regarded nationally. Flacco on 3rd down again out of the eye. And he'll keep on his feet and slung down at the 10-yard line. A big sack there and a huge stop for this Clearview defense.
And there's the last, I think both feet were out, but I'll tell you what, he is an athlete. There is no doubt he's an athlete. Fisher was right there. Now it'll be interesting to see if they go, yes they are. We're going to have Ed Kehoe come in now to kick a field goal. And this will be his 6th successful attempt this season in the 6th game, Rob.
Kehoe, as I mentioned, leading South Jersey in field goals. And this one will be spotted at the 17. So 27-yard attempt. Kehoe has illustrated plenty of leg up until this point. Kick is up, and the kick is good. Kehoe, the first-year kicker here at Eastern High School, has put the Vikings ahead 10-0 with 4:35 remaining in this first quarter. You know, one of the things that you talked about is, Tommy Flacco and also having had Joe Flacco at Audubon. Again, we've seen the arm strength of Tom. I talked a little bit about his athleticism. Again, I'm also his baseball coach. He is probably the best athlete I have ever coached.
Well, it's kind of interesting because people didn't realize how good a baseball player Joe Flacco was. And if he hadn't indicated to all the major league scouts that he was going to go play at the University of Pittsburgh, I think he would have been drafted.
Well, it's ironic that you mentioned that. Today I was speaking with the head coach of Pittsburgh at the University of Pittsburgh and about one of my players, and we got onto the subject of Flacco, and he mentioned he tried very, very hard to get Joe to play there, and Joe just simply wanted to play football.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll tell you what, I see a lot of similarities in both of them. They're both poised, they both have tremendous arm strength, and Joe was a very, very good student too.
Kehoe kicks it away inside the 10-yard line, and Clearview once again with a nice return right up the middle, finding a big seam. On his feet and across midfield is number 41, Henry Wilmer.
Well, let's hope that will be something to spur some life into the Clearview Pioneers. But I'll tell you what, well blocked, hit the hole quickly and just kept going. Let's see if Clearview can make something out of it, because I think to make this a ball game, they need to put some points on the board.
Well, we have seen that special teams has played a large role in this game already. First down for Clearview. They are looking for their first down. They've been 3 and out 3 straight times. Harbaugh pitches, and a whole lot of trouble here. And the Vikings just swarm, and another loss for the Pioneer offense. Right now, Fred, it's just been all Eastern at the line of scrimmage.
You know, it's funny because talking to Dan Spittle before the game, he coached with Larry Ginsburg when they were both at Eastern, and Larry Ginsburg ran the triple option. So he said all week, all his defensive coaches were just talking about, how did you run this triple option? How did you run it? I think it worked. But that 5-3 defense is really doing a number on Clearview.
I can tell you, they were very concerned about defending this because they typically don't see it. So they defended all week without a ball, just making sure that they're staying disciplined as a defense. Second down. Right up the middle, Harbaugh fakes, looking for room, and the ball is loose. It looks like Clearview fell on it.
And defensive coaches will really enjoy if they get a chance to watch this play again. Number 1, Keyshawn Seegers. Great job of staying at home. That's what you have to do against the triple option. You have to stay at home and play assignment football. He was phenomenal on that play. Didn't get fooled by the counter action and just went right into Mitchell Harbaugh.
And speaking with Tom Flacco this week about the practice, does this team understand how important this game is? He said this has been a high-intensity practice week, maybe their best couple days of practice of the year. I think that thus far this defense has certainly shown that. Third down and long for Harbaugh, and the Pioneers, quick drop and tipped up, and nothing doing there. Again, 3 and out for Clearview.
And that's been the key. The key so far is Eastern has to realize they are really in the Group 5 picture. It's going to be, Williamstown so far is up in front of everyone, but I think after that, that Group 5 could go to anybody.
Well, again, it will be Gardner back to receive the kick of Mitch Harbaugh. Again, a big rush, and Harbaugh just quickly gets it away, shoots it to the side, and it will find its way out just about at the 31-yard line. First down and 10 for Eastern, 2:37 remaining, and the Vikings holding a 10-0 lead.
You know, Rob, you also said something good that I think our viewers got to catch on. A week of practice depends a lot about how you're going to play in a game. And if they said they had intense practices, that's going to show up on Friday night, and I think we're seeing it right now.
That's an excellent point. You know, a lot of times parents are wondering, or fans are wondering, why is this guy playing and not playing? Because a lot depends on the way the practice evolves throughout the week, undoubtedly. Flacco out of the shotgun. Flacco right up the middle, Gardner into the secondary, and you see the speed of Gardner, and he's across midfield. And right now, again, gaping holes being opened up by this Eastern offensive line.
And Rob, that's true, but I'll tell you what, I'm very impressed with the vision that's being shown. Watch how he sees where the hole develops and gets to it quickly. Just good vision, runs, keeps out shoulders square, looks, off he goes.
While we were watching that, Gardner ran another. It's a gain of about 3, second down and 7. 2 minutes remaining in this first quarter. It's been all Eastern. Flacco out of the shotgun, has his man in the flat, finds Seegers, and Seegers on his feet, and he'll have enough for the first down.
Once again, timing pattern. Coach Spittle said that the quarterback and the receivers worked very well in the off season, especially in the summertime, on getting their patterns right. That was all drop back 2 steps, throw the ball. It's being thrown as the receiver makes his cut, almost impossible to defend.
Seegers probably the best hands on this Eastern team. Here's Gardner, he'll cut it outside. Gardner has a man to beat, and he does. Touchdown.
What a great run. If we get a chance to see that again, watch the initial lateral cut that Gardner makes 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. The play was probably set to go on the inside, and outside he went for the touchdown.
This will be coming back, though. Once again, the second touchdown called back as a result of a holding penalty.
Wow.
See the talent, the escapability of little Anthony Gardner.
Now, as Smith mentioned before, even though Eastern comes in at 3-2, their 2 losses were to Timber Creek, a team that has 5 Division I players on their team, and Williamstown, who's 5-0 and has dominated every opponent they've played so far.
Woodard now lined up behind Flacco. Flacco has a man deep in the end zone. It is Woodard, and ball comes loose. Woodard, you know, it's ironic because Woodard is being recruited as a defensive back. He essentially turned into one there.
Yes, sir, and because that ball was a stone interception for George Karasinas, and a great job for Woodard to break it up. But good coverage there by George Karasinas.
Second down now for Eastern after that holding penalty. Again, they're going to run out of the eye. Tyrone Thompson set up deep. It's Woodard at the bottom of your screen. And a hand up right up the gut. Pickup of maybe 1 or 2. So right now, Fred, the only thing that has stopped Eastern is Eastern.
That's correct. I mean, this could easily be 24-0 at this particular time. I'm very, very impressed with the offense of Eastern, but I'm even more impressed with the defense.
We talk about injuries. Believe it or not, this Eastern offensive line missing 2 of their starters, but still doing a very, very good job. Third down for Flacco. Flacco's had time all day to operate, and he has it again. Throws it up for grabs to his man, and Ryan Delaney unable to come down with it. Well covered on the play, and that will bring up a 4th down. And at this point, Fred, where they are at the 35, likely to go for it.
Yeah, I would think so too, because they've got the wind with them. But the thing that I think that Eastern will catch on pretty quickly, right now they're trying to go for the big home run balls, and I think they'll go back down to make those out cuts and just go right down the field, because I don't think Clearview can stop them.
Now, looks like they're having some wholesale changes here.
And it looks like maybe the punter's in.
Looks like they're going to try to pin them deep. Interesting call here by Coach Dan Spittle and the Eastern Vikings.
Timeout, Eastern.
Eastern calls timeout with 47 seconds remaining. There you take a look at head coach Dan Spittle and the Vikings.
And what a great human being. I knew him first when he was coaching up at Pemberton with Bill McDowell, and then came down to Eastern. And he's just a hard-working guy, does everything that you can the correct way, and I think that's what makes high school coaching so enjoyable.
Eastern coming into this game, again, coming off of a tough loss last week to an excellent Williamstown team. I think many people would argue that Williamstown, the top team in all of South Jersey.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I'm still having a hard time with 5 groups now this year. It's kind of interesting how that's all planned out, and each of those groups has 15 schools. So half the schools are going to make it into the playoffs this year. I guess that makes a lot of money for people.
Yeah, I guess, unfortunately, it starts to always come down to that, doesn't it?
That's true, Rob, I'm telling you.
There you see some of the apparel that adorns these Clearview players and even a few Eastern players, given that it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We see that throughout the NFL.
Now, I'll tell you what, it looks like now, I think Eastern's going to go for it.
Which is what we said initially.
Yeah, I think you're right on target. The ball's marking just outside, inside the 35-yard line. Incomplete pass still means Clearview's got a long way to go. I think Tommy Flacco might be throwing one of those darts this time.
That's still the punter, Rob Hart.
How about that?
Excuse me, Brian Hart. Well, it looks like they were backed up an additional 5 yards here, Fred.
Yes, it must have been delay.
Delay a game. Hart bobbles, but gets it away. Angling towards the sideline, and a good little punt as it'll be marked at the 16-yard line. First down and 10 for the Pioneers, their worst field position of this first quarter with 41 seconds remaining. Eastern on top by the score of 10-0. We mentioned before that Clearview has enjoyed an excellent season, of course, last week. Really a big win over a Shawnee team that is usually, you know, the watermark of quality football. So a big win for this Clearview program. Handoff inside, and again, not a whole lot there for the Pioneers as that gap was quickly closed by Tyrone Thompson.
And again, Clearview experimenting. That time they went to a counter just to try to see if they could get some of these linebackers to move out of play. From talking to Clearview, the biggest key for them was being able to regroup at halftime and then come out and stop Shawnee in the second half. They're going to need to do that again this week.
In that football game at the half, Shawnee held a 7-0 edge, and of course it turned out to be a big Clearview victory. And that should do it for the first quarter. It's been an eventful first quarter. Special teams have really played an immense role. It's senior night here at Clearview. They trail Eastern 10-0.
How good is it? Center fielder.
Welcome back to Clearview. They trail 10-0 here. Eastern Vikings have illustrated some top defense here, and that was really a concern for it coming in and seeing an offense that they were not really familiar with.
Sure, because Clearview was definitely, their goal was to control the football. They have not gotten the first down yet.
Second down, and Harbaugh.
Pretty good effort on that. Harbaugh faked the option side going to the left and then cut back. We used to call it a quarterback counter, and it works pretty well. That was their best gaining yard and their first first down of the game.
That is their first down. So no first downs in the first quarter, and appreciably better start for the second quarter for the Pioneers. There you take a look at Mitch Harbaugh, the senior, 5'10", 170 pounds, and he's really just about everywhere on this field for Clearview's Pioneers. Inside handoff and stretching forward for about 4 yards was Coles.
Again, as what we said before, Clearview is a fullback-oriented football team. When their fullback gets positive yardage, the offense moves. So maybe this is a good sign for the Pioneers.
Coles had a 100-yard game earlier in the season against Cumberland, so he's someone that can fill that role quite nicely. And it's great to have that type of depth for that man, Mark Deal. Deal, previously a coach at Audubon and Gateway High School. Harbaugh hands it off, and again, just not much there as a fine play made inside by this Eastern defense, and Tyrone Thompson has really established himself as a top player early in this game.
Yes, and the key of running the option in here is you do not block the last 2 men on the line of scrimmage. They are your read keys. The inside guy is the handoff key. If he stays outside, the fullback gets the ball. If he goes inside, you pull it out, you go right down to the defensive end and option the defensive end. So they're doing a great job staying at home.
Third down, we'll call it 5 for Harbaugh. Handoff to Coles. Coles just gets pounded, and a big hit made once again by Tyrone Thompson.
Just no line surge so far out of Clearview. The game is usually won up front, and right now, big advantage to the Eastern Vikings.
Thompson, a big linebacker and a backup running back primarily. They are missing Tim Kocher, who is out for the game, and Thompson has filled in nicely. Once again, special teams has been an issue today. Harbaugh will get it away, and a high punt to Gardner. Gardner lets it bounce. It looked like it hit a Clearview player, and it will be down at the 41-yard line.
Our first uneventful punt.
That's correct.
83, Ryan Mullane downs the ball for Clearview. Eastern will take over first.
Eastern with good field position, and they'll be throwing into the wind.
Yeah, you'll see the indication by the official that was a touch. They called it an illegal touch, but it was a touch before the ball hit the ground, so it's marked at the spot where the ball was touched.
That, of course, the 42-yard line, first down and 10 for the Vikings. 9:08 left in this first half. Flacco has Woodard at the bottom of your screen. They'll hand it off to Gardner. Gardner quickly through the hole, bouncing off tackles, spinning and stretching for the first down.
Boy, great effort. The true sign of a good back is that your legs never stop moving. And he definitely did that. He was hit twice, just kept those legs a-pumping, gains that yardage for the first down, and an 11-yard gain. Look at this. Watch this again. Shoulders square, hits, keeps those legs going, and forward momentum. First down, Eastern.
Clearview looks like they may have jumped off sides. That is the call. It'll be first down and 5 now for Flacco and the Vikings.
You know, Rob, there's certain keys in the game that we call breaking points. One of these could be coming up right now. Eastern scores again and goes up by 2.5 scores. Look out.
Flacco across the middle has his man right up the gut and just brought down inside the 3-yard line is Keyshawn Seegers. Again, you get a sense of the strength of that right arm of Tom Flacco.
Yep, single. It was a deep post pattern. Breaks inside the cornerback, inside the free safety, delivered right on the money by Flacco. Big game.
First down and goal for the Eastern Vikings. looking to deliver a knockout blow here early in this game. Out of the eye. Flacco right up the middle, it's Gardner. And not enough for the touchdown. Nice stop made inside. It looked to be Vinny Simone, or excuse me, Brian Bartholomew.
And I'm very, very pleased how Dan Spittle's running his goal line offense. Too many teams keep the spread offense down to the goal line. Your quarterback 7 yards off the line of scrimmage. Your running back 7 yards. Here it's basic football.
Once again, Gardner pushing inside. Gardner, no indication now. Touchdown. TJ Gardner. And Eastern on top now, 16-0.
58-yard drive, highlighted by that key post pattern that went from Tom Flacco to Keyshawn Seegers to take it all the way down to the 3-yard line.
Well, right now, Clearview just not getting any pressure on the quarterback, and Flacco with that time, he's pick you apart. Kehoe on to attempt the point after. Kick is good. Eastern on top now, 17-0. Let's take a look at this touchdown. You talk about the second effort of Gardner.
Yeah, look at his legs driving. I'm never quitting. I'm getting in that end zone. Touchdown.
Well, this is a team, Fred, that is really not built to play from behind by 17. They're a team that really needs to maintain possession of the football and eat up clock. And I think if you're Mark Deal, you can't change your game plan at this point.
Not at
you
this.
Get a touchdown and it changes the complexion of the game.
I think that's what he's hoping to do. If they can get the ball back, they can drive down, get points on the board, go into halftime, find out the adjustments they have to make, and go. But you can't change the game because then you're just panicking.
Kehoe will kick it away for the Vikings.
I think, Rob, the danger is, though, Clearview has to advance the football because if they give it back to Clearview.
And we may have had an offsides here. And the whistle blew. We had a communication breakdown by the Vikings, so they'll give up an additional 5 yards here.
Well, so far, Rob, from what I've seen, beside the tremendous exhibition that's been put on by Eastern, you're really seeing the quality of the competition that they've played. Because to be in 3-2, you realize how good some of the teams they've played have actually been.
Eastern, of course, lost to Williamstown. We mentioned how talented the Williamstown team is, and also to Timber Creek. Timber Creek coming into the season was everybody's choice to be the #1 team. It hasn't quite played out that way for them. Squib kick taken at the 35. And again, not much of a return, but Clearview with good field position, they'll get it to the 40.
And some people will wonder, how come you squib kick at this particular time? It's a pretty good wind blowing today. And if you try to go deep, that ball might blow right back into your face. So,
well, it's kind of interesting in that Timber Creek game, it was a tie score right before the half. And they chose not to squib kick it. They chose to kick it, tried to pin him in the corner. Timber Creek returned it for a touchdown. Wow. And although the score was not indicative of the game, that really changed the whole complexion of that game. So perhaps a lesson learned there.
Second personal foul penalty coming up against Clearview. Now we'll have to see if they call it as a dead ball foul, but 15 yards back in the wrong direction for the Pioneers.
Well, I think that's an indication of the frustration of this Clearview team right now, both offensively and defensively.
And from a coach, very difficult to see this early. It will be a live ball situation, so it will be 1st and 10 for the Pioneers.
Well, so much for the good field position now. Harbaugh and the Pioneers will look to continue possession and run this ball down the field. Quick drop, Harbaugh throws it down the middle, has his man, finds him in stride, across the 40, to the 30, the 20, the 10, and touchdown!
Wow, what an effort by George Kurasinas to get into the end zone. Pinpoint pass made by Mitchell Harbaugh. And for Clearview, new life.
Well, that's simply a play that you're wondering as a defensive coordinator at this point not to let anybody get behind you. They do. A beautiful pass by Harbaugh to Karasinas, and Karasinas takes it to the house, and that changes everything here. Kick is up, and the kick is no good.
We're going to get to see this again. A little quick fake inside to the fullback. 3-step drop. Harbaugh sets. Little touch pass. Watch Karasinas. Great hands, and now showing some great speed, outrunning Ryan Delaney right here.
Now you see Gardner starting to track him down. He lays out to try to get him. Delaney finally pulls him out, but it's too late. Delaney, your safety, and Karasinas comes up with a big, big score.
And touchdown for Karasinas, as we see right here. It's kind of interesting at the end of the play. He almost lost the football.
So Clearview comes right back after the TJ Gardner touchdown, and we have ourselves a brand new football game, Fred. 7:18 left in this first half, and Clearview, who is almost left for dead, comes back, shows life, and again, right now, the momentum their way. They're going to need a big stop defensively.
I think so too, because all the positive adrenaline and everything that's been gained by that touchdown, they don't want to give right back to a Tommy Flacco touchdown.
Again, it'll be Harbaugh to kick it away. Back to receive it is Gardner. Clearview with the wind to their back. And the kick is away. Gardner will take it at his 8. To the 15. Out to the 25. Tripped up and a fine tackle made by Clearview. It looked to be Dalton Ryan.
And a nice situation. I'm sure if Dan sees this on tape on tomorrow, Gardner was carrying the ball almost like a loaf of bread, hanging it out to the side, and someday that'll come back to haunt you.
First down and 10 for the Vikings. Ball spotted at the 26-yard line. We mentioned it was really a key series for both teams, Fred.
Yes, sir, and I once agree. Clearview just has to make a stop.
Gardner inside for about 3.
Again, a great job up front by the linemen of Eastern. They're keeping the defensive tackles and the linebackers from penetrating and from rushing the quarterback. Right now, they own the line of scrimmage.
Flacco, again, out of the shotgun with Gardner in the backfield. Flacco with time, tucks it, and here you get to see the speed of Flacco, and he tries to break a tackle. Nice open field tackle there by number 41, Henry Wilmer.
But we got to see for the first time what you said. Flacco had enough common sense that as the rush was really closing in on him, he stepped up. Most people don't. They try to escape to the outside. He stepped up, found the opening, got the first down.
First and 10, 6:29 and counting here, first half. Flacco hands off inside, and not a whole lot there. And once again, it's TJ Gardner.
Now, when we get a chance to see this again sometime, Gardner, the key on the flex when they're going back in the shotgun at this particular point is the running back gets a good running start when he hits the line of scrimmage. The only danger is he's 6 yards back when it starts. So that, although that was a decent run, it's a 3-yard gain.
Second down, we'll call it 7. Flacco again out of the shotgun. A lot of time, throws it up top, and it is dropped. Keyshawn Seegers just kind of watched that ball and didn't really react. I don't know if he lost it in the lights, but Clearview had a great opportunity, and it was Harbaugh back there kind of playing center field who dropped it.
I'm glad you said that because I was going to ask you as a baseball coach. It looked like he was circling under that one.
Third down for the Vikings. And those are the type of plays that, again, are needed when you're down 17-7. Out of the shotgun, Flacco looks to the side for the call. Quick drop, Flacco gets flushed out and he's sacked. Well, Flacco has not had much pressure today, but there you see the first sack of the game by big Matt Pike. The 225-pound senior comes up with the big defensive stop for the Pioneers.
And here we say count the time. See how long Flacco had to throw. It was really a coverage sack. He couldn't find anyone open. Bang, in comes Pike.
You know what's kind of interesting is, Fred, typically I think Flacco or any quarterback would get rid of it. You have that internal clock, but he's had such good protection throughout the game, you just never think anybody's going to come.
Yeah, we used to teach the quarterbacks to count to 4. And if you counted to 4, that rush is going to get to you.
So again, Eastern will be forced to punt it away to Karasinas. We've seen how dangerous he can be inside of 5 minutes remaining in this first half. Hart, he gets it away. And now the ball rolls and will be downed inside the 30-yard line.
Well, Rob, Clearview got what they wanted. They got to stop. They keep the score at 17-6, and if they could go down and get some more points, we might have a heck of a ball game in the second half.
They almost had the other thing they wanted. Hart looked like he had a little tough time handling that snap, and it could have easily been another blocked punt today, this time for Clearview.
Now, once again, Mark Deal will probably go back and he'll run his base offense and try to use up the remaining 4:47 of this clock, so that the worst he goes in is down 17-6, and the best, well, maybe it's 17-12.
Clearview's only loss this year coming at the hands of Paul VI. First down and 10. Harbaugh again up top, has a man open again in stride across the 20, down to the 10, and ball is down on the ground. What's the ruling?
They are marking it as a touchback. It will be no touchdown, and the ball will be taken over by Eastern at the 20-yard line.
That looked like the ground may have caused that fumble. Of course, we'll have an opportunity to take a look. But again, 2 straight times this Eastern secondary beat on the long pass. Great touch by Harbaugh.
Matter of fact, looked pretty close to the same play. Great catch. Now we'll watch the end of the play. He's got the ball protected very well, covering the tip of the football. Now he switches hands and doesn't cover the tip of the football, and it's loose. It's definitely loose. Yes, that was a great call by the official.
Well, again, there you see the athleticism of Eli Woodard. Again, an indication of why he is headed to Ohio State. Ryan Delaney falls on the football in the end zone, and a big, big turnover for Clearview.
Again, if we have young people that were watching the game, Seaver did everything right. He decided at the last minute to switch hands. When he switched hands with the football, you always teach backs and receivers to cover the tip of the football. That will keep you from fumbling. He did not. He got hit. Ball came loose.
Second down and 6. A good call by the refs on that fumble. And again, very unfortunate for this Clearview team. There you see Tommy Flacco. Handoff, and Clearview has stepped things up considerably on that defensive line.
And I think Eastern was thinking at the time, let's just take some time off the clock. We want to make sure we get ourselves into the lead at halftime. I think you're going to see the ball be aired out right now.
3 minutes and 30 seconds left in this first half, and again, another key third down here for the Vikings. Ball spotted at about the 25. Gardner in the backfield. Flacco throws, has a man in the flat, and it is Delaney. Delaney looks like he has enough for the first down. It's an interesting spot. Looks like it's right on the 30-yard line.
Again, great timing pattern. We got to see Flacco's arm strength right again. The coverage was really good. It's just the ball gets there before the defensive back has a chance to make a break on the football.
And just by the tip of the football, Eastern will have a first down. So a big play for the Vikings. They will continue this drive. First down and 10 at the 30. Out of the I formation. It's Woodard in motion. Handoff, Gardner, right up the middle. Gardner still on his feet, trying to tackle the football is Troy Darpino. Ironically, the player that fumbled previously for Clearview. Gardner holds on to it, second down. And that's actually a gain of 10, they say. So first down again for the Vikings. They're starting to move the football as we approach the 3-minute mark. Here's Woodard, little end around. Strings it outside, and you see the strength and size of Woodard.
Number 9, Eli Woodard.
Well, that's a nice threat to have. You see a lot of the pro teams run that where they fake inside, the quarterback goes back and then comes around. Great job done by Woodard to get out to the outside, and he showed his toughness.
Yeah, it's heady stuff when you're a guy like Woodard who has every college in the nation after you. You have Urban Meyer coming into your high school to tell you that he wants you to play for him. Again, that's a lot to digest for any 17-year-old kid. Flacco hands it off, and great surge by the Clearview defense.
Shoot, I'd be impressed to see Urban Meyer. I remember last year the Timber Creek people were telling me when Quinzel Lambert was being highly recruited, and in comes Alabama. And I would have canceled my class that time and walked down to see Coach Shore.
Yes.
Or Saban, I'm sorry. I'm doing all right. Shore was only 17-0 in Miami.
Flacco keeps Flacco dancing, and Flacco leans forward very close, and now another penalty flag, and we're going to have another personal foul, I believe. The only question is, who will this be against?
And that was made by the side judge all the way down the field, so I think it's going to probably end up going against Clearview.
So they're going to come over and talk to Mark Deal about it.
It looks like they're going to back the sideline up. Now let's see what happens. Could be a sideline
Coach,
warning.
it's fourth down. It's fourth down, Coach. Fourth down, Coach. Coach,
Yeah, it's a sideline warning for violating the line that's there. They were up close to the line. The official was not happy about it, so he makes a call. The first time it's a warning, the second time it's a penalty.
Fourth down and 1. Flacco did not get a very good spot there. So fourth down and 1, and the Vikings will opt to go for it at the 49-yard line. There's 2:05 remaining. Out of the eye. Looks like Flacco will audible. In motion, it's Woodard. Handoff inside, and not much there. The surge forward, and enough now. Second, third, and fourth effort makes all the difference in the world, and Eastern comes away with the first down.
And I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but for all the backs that are out there, he kept his legs moving. He never stopped driving, and momentum carried him for the first down.
Inside of Clearview territory at the 49-yard line. 1:40 left. In motion, it's Woodard out of the eye. Flacco fakes the handoff. Deep drop. Flacco down the middle. Has a man wide open. It's Woodard, and it's underthrown. They rule it a catch.
They rule it a catch.
Flacco's pass is complete to number 9, Eli Woodard.
Well, again, you get an indication. Flacco has an excellent arm. How strong this wind is. Woodard comes back and makes a fine play on the Flacco pass.
I think we're going to see this situation that somehow he got lost, but watch this catch. Oh, I don't know. How about that? It's a great catch.
I think Woodard got his right arm underneath, and again, you see the talent of Woodard. Here's Gardner, strings it outside. Gardner on his feet, thrown out of bounds inside the 10-yard line.
How about that? Now, Coach Deal will watch this at halftime. If you get a chance to ever see that play again, Woodard cut up the field too soon. So it actually was a motion penalty, but looks good on paper.
That's right. It's only a penalty if they call it, right?
That's correct.
Second down, we'll call it 5. Flacco out of the shotgun. 3 receivers set, 2 split right. Flacco looks to his left, inside, has his man. Again, it's Gardner. Gardner still driving forward, finally cut down at about the 1-yard line. And that's a big play for Clearview to stop the touchdown, but it'll allow Eastern to continue to move the clock as we're down to 1:01 left.
Again, key to Eastern, they still have all 3 timeouts left. That's a plus. But again, arm strength, but good tackling done by Clearview to stop that touchdown.
Eastern once again working out of the eye. It's TJ Gardner behind Rob Hart. Woodard lined up wide right, down to 49 seconds now. Flacco hands off Gardner. Gardner clotheslined and nothing doing there. So we'll see if Eastern calls a timeout here as the clock winding down to 34 seconds.
Close to a horse collar tackle.
Looks like timeout Eastern.
So Eastern calls timeout with 27.9 seconds, holding a 17-6 lead.
Again, having 2 timeouts remaining, it's plenty of time to do. You also have Kehoe for a field goal if you need it. But it goes to show you how interesting this score could easily be 17-12.
Let's take a look at the last carry by Gardner.
Horse collar facing us on the water side.
I'll tell you what, looks like the arm was right around the head.
Like we said, it's only a penalty if they call it.
That's right.
There you see your score, Eastern 17, Clearview 6. We mentioned that Clearview came into this season off of a tough one last year, but they quickly jumped down all over Winslow in the first week, winning 29-7. Got beat up a little bit by Paul VI, but big wins over Cumberland and Shawnee. Puts them at 4-1. They have Eastern this week, and then they go on and face a pretty good Triton team that's had their own controversy to deal with. That's certainly a distraction there.
All right, I think we're going to see a Mike Flacco quick pass.
Tom Flacco rolls to his right. Flacco looks. He'll keep it. Flacco throws. Touchdown!
Boy, what an effort that time by Tommy Flacco. I called him Mike, but what a great effort on that. He rolled, he kept his poise, he waited for his receiver to clear, and then threw a bullet.
Devin Nicholas, Flacco had enough time, made the linebacker commit as he looked like he was going to turn it upfield, and Devin Nicholas comes away with the touchdown.
When I was saying before, it could have easily been 17-12, and now it's 24-6.
Provided Kehoe makes this point after. Kehoe's kick is up, and it's no good.
Oh, he made me look bad.
You jinxed him.
I know.
23-6 Eastern.
Sorry,
holding
Dan.
a 17-point edge with 21 seconds even remaining in this first half. Again, we saw a squib kick, Fred. We're going to see another one here?
Yeah, I think so, because I think with 21 seconds, then you're going to go into my defense I hate, the prevent defense, and I think they're just going to try to hold Clearview. Be interesting to see if Mark Deal goes for it with 21 seconds to go, or whether he just runs out the clock.
Let's take a look at that touchdown from Flacco and the Vikings. You see Flacco, again, buying time, and once he started turning upfield, he really created problems for the defense. You see Flacco here, just stringing out. Now he commits, and you're forcing the defense to commit to you, and that's what opens up the play.
Flacco was looking left all the way at that time, started to run, and had the sense of seeing the receiver wide open in the end zone. Great effort.
Kehoe, usually money on those point afters. A rare miss for the senior. He'll kick it away. Again, we have seen that special teams has played a big role in this first half. Kehoe with the squib the last time. We'll likely see it again. And that, in fact, is what we do see. Clearview struggling with the football. They'll just simply fall on it. And again, it'll be down inside the 30-yard line. 18 seconds left. So, Fred, you're the coach now.
I'm telling you, now, 2 pass plays have worked on the last 2. I'm running the clock out and regrouping at halftime.
I agree with you. I mean, obviously, it's going to be a completely different defensive look. Why roll the dice here? Certainly within reach at the half. And they'll run it right up the gut and do exactly what we talked about. And they'll try to regroup in the locker room as the clock winds its way down. Neither team will call timeout. And that will do it for the first half. Through one half of play at Clearview High School, it is the Eastern Vikings on top, 23-6. back to start the second half, and it's Woodard on the 24, cuts it back across the grain. You'll see the speed of Woodard at the 20. Has one man to beat outside to the 50, and finally pushed out of bounds. Again, you see the remarkable athleticism of Eli Woodard.
Well, that just answered my question as to why all these schools are looking for him. Great instincts too, Rob. He just knew what to do, and then once he gets an opening, he just turns it on. Great athlete.
Well, again, down at the 18-yard line, looked like nothing doing. He saw that no one was trailing on the backside, turned it around, and became a foot race. Usually Eli Woodard wins foot races.
Now we're going to see what adjustments have been made at halftime by both teams. More likely, what changes have been made by Clearview.
Handoff, Gardner. Cuts it inside. Gardner on his feet, brought down, and another penalty flag. He may have a hold.
Well, there was a big hole on the left side, and maybe they had a little help.
Third holding tonight called against Eastern.
Now, there's still 23 minutes to go in the game, but you almost have to think, for the psyche of Clearview, they've got to stop them here and then go down to score.
So that is a spot foul. It essentially is a 6-yard penalty. First down, 16. Flacco out of the shotgun, trips right. Seegers at the bottom of your screen. Into the flat. Has his man, it's Woodard. Woodard still on his feet. Cuts it back inside. Woodard inside Clearview territory.
Again, the formation that Eastern uses at the time is called a bunch formation. They do trip out to the left, to the right-hand side, and then every receiver goes off in a different direction. Very, very difficult to control.
A relatively innocent play results in a big gain. Second down, we'll call it 7, gain of 9. There you see Tom Flacco. You know, I mentioned being the baseball coach there. Flacco was our third baseman. He had a perfect fielding percentage throughout the year until the very last game when an umpire actually blew a call. Cuts it inside, Flacco down to the 30-yard line.
And you got to see some athleticism out of Flacco at that particular time, because he just turned and ran, and that's a great effort. Yeah, that's kind of difficult. I would have a conversation with the umpire at that time.
Well, it's kind of funny. Here you see the keep by Flacco. The umpire said after the game how bad he felt about missing the call and changing what would have been a truly remarkable feat, 1,000 fielding percentage at the hot corner. Handoff, it's Gardner. He has room. Gardner, big hit laid out. Gardner close to a first down.
Did that umpire work the game when the guy lost the perfect game at first base? He must have worked that game. All right, definitely now, once again, the Vikings just going right down the field, mixing up their plays between runs, counters. The only thing we haven't seen yet is a big-time pass, and that may be coming right now.
Second down and short. Flacco with time. Now will keep. And he'll have enough for the first down. Flacco inside the 10, across the goal line, touchdown. Tom Flacco illustrating some of that foot speed we have talked about. And Eastern adds to their lead. It's now 29-6.
And I'm once again very impressed. He knew exactly what to do and the right decision to be made when the original play broke down. Once he cut to the outside, he sure knew where the end zone was.
You know, what's interesting, Fred, is that both Coach Mark Deal and Dan Spittle said in many ways he's similar to his brother, a real student of the game, and that was a cerebral play. He recognized when to tuck it under and took advantage of the defense.
I'm not jinxing Kehoe.
29-6, Kehoe looking to make it 30, and another penalty here.
Yeah, it's interesting because Mark Deal had Joe Flacco for 4 years. And when I talked to him the other day at practice, the one thing he was worried about is the things that Tom Flacco can do.
Well, that's been on display. That's the second time offside has been called on an extra point against Clearview. Means very little. And Kehoe will line up once again to try to add to that Eastern lead. Kick is up, and the kick is good. It is now 30-6. Eastern on top, and there you see Kehoe. And again, we got a lot of fisticuffs out here, a little pushing, and a lot of business happening after the whistle.
And you kind of mentioned that before as the frustration factor starts to come in, because I'm sure Clearview got together at halftime and said, look, we're going to stop Eastern, we're going to take the ball down, we know we can score, we'll get right back into the game. Instead, out comes Eastern, right down the field, 30-6. You're taking in now at least, you're going to need 3.5 scores to even tie the game, so it's going to be very, very tough from here on out. Watch again, watch Flacco as he sets up. Everything's set. He sees his initial read is not there, takes off, tucks the football underneath his arm, and there he goes. We took a pretty good shot there right in the end zone, too, at that particular time.
Eastern now on top, 30-6. You know, speaking to Tom, came over as a freshman. He played at Camden Catholic. Family moved into Voorhees. I said, what's the biggest difference? He said, you know what, it's far more close-knit family at Eastern. He said, you know, one of the things that's tough going to a Catholic school is you have kids coming from all over the place. Nobody knows one another, and not necessarily the same investment in one another.
Now you draw from Voorhees, Berlin, Borough, and is there another section? Gibbsboro. Okay.
Say the vast majority of the kids, Voorhees, the larger of the three towns, but a nice regional mix.
And then Clearview draws from Harrison Township and Mantua Township, and they just keep getting bigger and bigger as the time gets along, but the housing boom stopping has really slowed that down.
It has. Probably another 7 years or so you'll see it come back, and Clearview will be one of the larger schools not too long in the distant future. There you see Karasinus. He's had a big day. Stopped on that return, and now Clearview will look to regroup here in the second half.
Yeah, I had his sister, Krista, in class at Gloucester County College. She was also a very outstanding soccer player, so I guess the genes run pretty well through that too, because he's had a great game for Clearview.
Well, we've seen that. We talked about that with both Flacco and TJ Gardner, whose sister is a world-class sprinter. First down and 10 for Clearview. Again, not much doing there, as Eastern has done a fine job just bottling up that run. Andrew Barry, the senior, stopping the surge.
And again, if our viewers want to look and say, how come Clearview is running the fullback? Their entire flexbone operation revolves around the running of the fullback. You have to stop the fullback first, and then you go to the outside parts of the option. That's what Eastern's doing.
Coles lined up in the backfield for that man, Mitch Harbaugh. Harbaugh hands it right up the gut, and again, not much doing there. So at what point do they start to go a little bit more to the air, Fred?
Well, I think in the first drive of the second half, you got to do the things that come normal to you. You got to try to move the ball down. If you can score, at least make it 30-12. Then I think that ends that game plan. Because if you want to play to win, then you have to score quickly. And knowing Coach Steele like I do, he wants to win. I think the real key so far is Clearview hasn't been able to really stop Eastern consistently.
30-6, the only score coming on a Harbaugh pass. That in the first half. Down the middle, Harbaugh looking for his receiver, and it falls incomplete. Once again, it's Kersinis.
And that was very similar to the play that they ran that was fumbled on the 2-yard line. That little fake to the fullback, we used to call it a ride pass, set right back up to the quarterback to throw over the middle on a quick post, and just wasn't there.
Fourth down, and Harbaugh will punt it away to Gardner, who is back at the 25-yard line. Harbaugh will angle towards the corner, and that will find its way out of bounds at about the 39. First down and 10. Eastern will regain possession with 8:32 left and a sizable lead, 24 points. yards. Defensive effort by Eastern has been impressive. We talk a lot of offense, but Tim Reagan and Jason Hill, the outside linebacker coach, Jason Hill, the defensive back coach, these guys deserve a lot of credit for the job they've done. They've put together a good game plan in a tough situation because, you really have to react to an offense that is relatively unconventional.
Absolutely, and when you look at Clearview's game plan, which was ball control and keep the clock moving and win the turnover battle and slow down Eastern offense, they're 0 for 4.
Chris Butler, the defensive coordinator for Eastern. Flacco across the middle has his man, Seegers, to the 30. Seegers brought down to the 29-yard line.
And a dart thrown by Flacco. At the end of the game, end of that play, though, he took a good shot from Clearview. So we'll see how Tommy Flacco responds to that, but another dart throw.
They'll move the chains, and that's something this Eastern offense has done throughout the evening. There you see Seegers. Excellent hands and good size. Here's Gardner. Gardner looking to create. Gardner will cut it back, still on his feet, still trying to create. Now cuts it back again to the 35, across the grain, to the 30. Gardner looking for space. Gardner, inside, touchdown!
That is a highlight film run. He probably changed directions 3 different times and had great vision to score. I can't wait to see this one again.
Wow, that looked like something out of John Madden EA Sports 13.
Oh, it looked like he was going to be trapped for maybe a 5 to 10 yard loss and just never gave up on the play.
Yeah, it's just frustrating if you're the Clearview defense. You think you have him stopped once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and then finally it's Gardner that finds some room to operate and adds to this Eastern lead with Kehoe's kick. It is no good. Eastern on top 36-6.
Now we're going to get to see this play again and watch it carefully because you're not going to see a better one at any level this year. Shakes off 1 tackle, set everything up, sees it again, look at the cutback again. Boy, just great feet. Breaks another tackle. Now, he set the run outside. Oh no, he's going to see some action back in the inside. Here comes the next cut. Boom, touchdown.
I think one of the things that you have to really credit Gardner with there is just conditioning.
Absolutely.
I mean, it looked like a lot of those Clearview kids just frankly ran out of gas, and Gardner still was in overdrive.
That's absolutely correct. And again, the key that I looked at as a coach, his great vision, and he never gives up on the play. It kind of reminds me one time, Joe Frapoli, who was at Florence one time, told me they were playing Paulsboro with Kevin Harvey. And the first play of the game, the center snapped the ball over Kevin Harvey's head, rolled back 20 yards deep back to the 5-yard line. I thought they were going to be in great shape. Harvey made 2 moves and ran 95 yards for a touchdown. He says, then you're going to have a long day.
Well, when Sean and I are usually together, it seems like invariably we get to the name Kevin Harvey.
It's amazing.
In my estimation, the greatest high school player I've seen.
Absolutely.
I know that sometimes it doesn't translate to the college or the professional ranks, but he was a phenomenal talent. Taken at the 25-yard line, and again, Clearview stopped inside their 30.
Well, man, I have a tremendous respect for Bob Shyok. Tells me of all the players he's ever seen, he's never seen one better.
Yeah.
So that's good enough for me.
First down and 10 Pioneers. So Fred, now do we see Clearview go to the air?
Well, you know what? It's kind of difficult because you hate to say this, but the game's almost out of reach. So now you just got to tell your kids that we got to do our things the right way. I would go back and run my offense right now, but let's see what happens.
Harbaugh keeps. Harbaugh on his feet. Still on his feet. Another great effort. And down at the 39-yard line. We talk about second, third efforts from Gardner. Great indication of the ferocity of Harbaugh.
Yeah, watch what he does. He makes a great read here, pulls the ball out, now goes to his next option. As he goes to his next option here, he just turns it on. Now, he still has the pitch man if he wanted to do that, but watch this. He refuses to go down. We heard so much about Mitch Harbaugh before this game. He showed us that and more on one play.
Credit Brian Hart with the tackle there. Good play to stop Harbaugh from getting the first down. Second down, Harbaugh will hand it off again, and it's going to be Coles who comes up with the first down for Clearview, a rare first down for these Pioneers.
And I think Mark Deal's following exactly what we thought he would do. He has to show confidence in his team, not give up. He's just going to say, let's go back to doing the things that we do well. It may not result in a victory today, but it has to build back that confidence up.
First down and 10. Harbaugh again will hand off inside, still on his feet. And I tell you what, you got to credit this Clearview team. You talk about, well, the game may be out of reach at 36-6. There is no quit that we've seen at this point.
And I think that indicates why they're 4-1, that they just are not going to ever give up. And that's what their coaches have said. Their chemistry's so good. They're unselfish. They want to work hard. And this will pay dividends in their schedule as we go down the line.
Second down, we'll call it 2.
That's motion.
Well, no penalty flag.
But you can hear the upstairs coaches from Eastern yelling just when I started the same thing.
Did you hear? And the Clearview coaches yelled back. They haven't called it all night on your guy. They're even giving each other the business up top.
From spending all that time in my life, 22 years up top, I understand everything that goes. Tom Brown and I used to have some very animated conversations, God rest his soul.
First down and 10 for the Pioneers. Harbaugh keeps. Harbaugh cuts inside. Harbaugh down to the 31-yard line, very close to a first down.
Now, when we said before, this is what Clearview does best, and this is how that flex bone offense runs, in the fact that it puts pressure on you one way or the other.
First and 10, Harbaugh. Really elevating his game here despite the large lead by Eastern. And the ball is loose.
That's ridiculous.
And it's going to be Eastern football.
Yeah, you hate to say that with situation. Harbaugh was trying to do everything basically on his own. You can't fault a kid at that time. He's trying to go for extra effort, and he just lost the ball.
It looked like Rob Hart may have fallen on this. Here you see Harbaugh. Somebody gets a hand in there. I think it was Brian Hart, and Rob Hart falls on it. So heart to heart on that one.
And interesting, that was definitely Clearview's best drive of the evening. We'll see now how they react defensively, because a lot of those kids that play offense go right on the defensive side of the ball.
4:53 left, I formation. And Flacco and the Vikings go right back to Gardner. Gardner slung down after a pickup of maybe a yard at the most.
Now, Group 5 is going to be very, very interesting, because Eastern can be successful in this time. They're going to stay probably at least number 2 in the power pointing behind Williamstown. Then you have all the Cal teams that are involved, and a couple teams like Toms River North and Southern. So Group 5 could be a very, very interesting playoff situation.
Hey! Are they in deuces? Stack, 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 stack.
Second down. We'll call it a loss of 1. Flacco out of the shotgun. Again, Flacco keeps. Flacco cuts it outside, across the 40-yard line. Flacco still driving, and he'll finally be brought down out of bounds. But it will be more than enough for the first down.
It's something you very rarely see from a quarterback these days. He was driving for more yards. He definitely wanted to get down. There was no slide tackle there for Tommy Flacco at that point. Very, very good deception, and first down Eastern.
Well, I can tell you that that's one of the major pluses of Tommy Flacco, is he is super competitive, and that has served him well in his athletic life. We saw that on that last carry. First down and 10, Flacco again with Gardner.
Gardner on the carry.
Gain of about 5.
And just a methodical drive coming up. I mean, Clearview is definitely game. They've definitely been fighting as hard as they can. They need to stop this drive right here just for their, again, for their own psyche.
Second down and 5.
Hey, Scott, anchor weak! Anchor weak! Tim! Anchor weak, Tim!
Flacco hands to Gardner. Gardner right up the gut. Still driving. Looks to be about a yard shy.
Good job!
And again, Eastern and Coach Bell doing a nice job because this is going to eat up a lot of clock time. It's going to take it into the fourth quarter when it's going to be very, very difficult to come back and score 31 points.
Third down and 1. Flacco keeps and has more than enough for the first down.
Where do you bat him in the batting lineup?
Well, actually, we're very fortunate. We have 2 speedsters, so he was our 2-hole hitter this year, but he is he's very strong. He may end up becoming a 3 or 4-hole hitter. I mean, you got a guy that runs a 6'7", 60 who is hitting in your 3-hole. That's something
That's
special.
kind of hard to turn down, isn't it?
We call that a 5-tool player. Flacco out of the shotgun. And we have a penalty here.
Yeah, the wide out, the inside wide out left before the ball was snapped. That used to drive me as a coach all the time because you told the wide out, look in at the football, don't move until the football gets snapped. But you want to get that extra head start. That kind of indicated to me might have even been a pass play.
First and 10. Strike that first and 15 at the 50. Here's Gardner. Gardner, more than enough for the first down. Tracked down from behind. The ball's on the ground. And it looks like Clearview will come away with the football.
And that was an interesting set. Clearview saw something offensively that they set up a blitz to the left-hand side. Tommy Flacco sent the play to the right-hand side, and Gardner finally loses something. Now, the question is, will the ball be marked as down, or will they consider it a fumble? And it looks like Clearview's offense is going on the field.
Luke Eisenhart, and that's a name you're very familiar with if you're a Clearview fan. The Eisenhart family, a big part of the athletic scene here at Clearview. Really hustling, tracking down Gardner from behind and creating that turnover.
And they are great people. I had the great pleasure of being able to teach Jesse Eisenhart and Judah Eisenhart. They were great people. Jesse's gone down to Rowan, did well at Rowan. He's now a volunteer assistant coach at Rowan University.
Harbaugh hands off and immediately hit is the ball carrier. It looks like Karasinas, a fine play made by Tyler Wilson.
I think the ball went further backwards than it went forward.
There you see Karasinas, who had that big touchdown reception that looked like it might change the complexion of this football game, but it just kind of slowed Eastern down momentarily.
And what all coaches love to say about him, he's a football player. He never quits, he never goes, and you look at him, he's not really a huge individual. He just plays hard on every down.
5'7", 145 pounds, and that 5'7" may be generous. Harbaugh back to pass, throws it up into double coverage, and it's picked off. Here's Gardner. Gardner will return it from his own 30. We talked about the speed of Gardner. Cuts it across the 40.
What a great block.
And Gardner will just simply run it out of bounds. And Gardner has been a major player here this evening.
Yes, did a great job. Did a thing that all defensive back coaches like to do called high point. But watch again, Harbaugh gets back, sets up, tries to go to the tight end on a go pattern on an outside release. He's double covered, just thrown too short. Look at that interception by Gardner.
Delaney and Gardner covering Williamson. Williamson never really had a shot at that ball, and Gardner has, again, really been a factor throughout tonight.
They're going to mark off a 15-yard penalty against Clearview, I believe, for a late hit. No, I guess not. That's the spot he went out of bounds.
Flacco out of the eye, ball at the 30-yard line. Woodard in motion. They'll hand it off right up the middle. And Clearview will hold about a 3 or 4 yard gain. And it's Tyrone Thompson who has never tackled. And again, it is still chippy out there, Fred.
Yeah, and there's a lot of pride on both teams. And they really, really came into this game both thinking they could win. It's tough to be on the bottom end of the score.
42 seconds remaining. Fred, when you're a football team and you're getting beat like this, and you're a team that now all of a sudden your expectations have become much grander because of your success. I mean, you talk about the pride, but there's also come into play that, you know what, we're not going to allow this to happen to us, that we're a better football team. We're not going to be humiliated or strong-armed.
And you look at it two ways. As soon as this play gets in, I'll explain to you exactly what we used to do.
Here's Thompson. Thompson thrown down, and we'll get back to that when we come back from break, Fred, as the clock will continue to wind down. And we are through 3 quarters of play here at Clearview High School. It is Eastern on top of the Pioneers, 36-6. Welcome back. 4th quarter. It's been all Eastern. 36-6 as we start the 4th. Tommy Flacco and the offense still on the field, and there you see T.J. Gardner, who has had himself quite a night.
And then we were talking before, the hardest thing for Clearview now is you have to recover from this. And it really checks the character of your team. A famous line that's always said in football is that football doesn't build character, it reveals it. And that's where character is really going to show out after this game. You have to take some positives. Even in a bad situation, you have to take positives out of it, because you know what? The sun comes up tomorrow, and it's ready to prepare for next week.
All right, Fred, I'm going to put you on the line here for just a second. I want the real answer, not the politically correct answer. But
okay.
First, let's take a look at Gardner. Gardner, and he gets tackled again for a first down. So Fred, you're coaching this Clearview team, and
right.
You're watching personal foul after personal foul, all right? Are you happy because you're showing the fight, or are you upset because you're losing discipline?
Yes, I'm upset because I'm losing discipline. The most important thing is you go out and you play the game to the best of your ability, and you never show the opponent what you're thinking. Now, the only thing I might do with this film is I might burn it tonight. That's the only thing I might do, and just say, forget it, it's over, we're going to start next week. But yes, you do not want your team, because that almost is a characteristic of a losing football team.
Flacco out of the shotgun, first down for the Vikings. Again, inside handoff, and not much there for Gardner.
And one thing Coach Steele used to do, and I'm sure he still does it, on a Friday night game, they come in on Saturday morning, and they look at the tape on Saturday morning. As a team. And the concept, I think that works with it. Win or lose, you take a look at it, you see, but sometimes the hardest thing you have to do that next morning, because you're aching and your pride's been hurt, is to watch the game all over again.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to get out of bed when you have a win.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, their philosophy all year is wake up Saturday morning 1-0. So this will be a tough one to recover, but in this kind of football, they have Triton next week, and you got to be prepared.
Second down for the Vikings. Flacco again, hands off. It's Gardner. Gardner cuts it outside. Gardner towards the end zone, and he's going to be cut up around his kneecaps, just shy of the end zone.
And I'll tell you, that's, again, you never give up in a game, and that's what Eastern's going to do. They're never going to give up. They'll probably pull ones out after this particular drive, but you never, ever stop.
Clearview in that loss to Paul VI yielded 35 points. So
it looks like we have some laundry on the field. Looks like a penalty coming back against Eastern. You know, it's funny. I remember, again, he's dead, but when Charlie Mullen was an umpire, official one time, when the score would get to this, he would yell over to the sideline, "No more today, coach." And every time a long play would go, they would go the flag now. Now, was it right? No.
Wow,
but I guess that's how he controlled everything.
How about that? That's something. I've never heard that story. That's a great story.
We can tell Charlie Mullen stories for years.
That's funny. Second down for Flacco and the Vikings. And again, they'll hand it off right up the middle. Content to just eat up clock. Still pushing forward. And it looks like the ball may have been stripped.
Yes.
It is.
How about that?
Football.
Good for the Pioneers. They get the ball back. Yeah, I know. You know, it's funny. They talk to coaches enough time, and they ask you how many wins you have. And coaches never remember how many wins they have, but they sure remember how many losses that they have.
I can vouch for that.
Me too. I was the same way. I can tell you how many were there at that particular time. And I think what'll hurt Mark Deal the most in this situation is they prepared to win, and it didn't turn out. And sometimes when you lose 20-17, you know, you played well, but it's tough when you're at the top end of this score.
In some ways, though, as a coach, when you just get...
They were better.
Yeah.
I got what you're saying.
Yep. Here's Harbaugh. Harbaugh still on his feet into the secondary, across midfield. Harbaugh in a race, trying to outrun Woodard. Woodard catches him and slings him down.
Great run by Harbaugh. Again, that's that outside option. He just turned it up, saw the gap, and off he went.
What a tremendous run by Mitch Harbaugh.
So Mitch Harbaugh has not disappointed the Clearview fans today. Watch this great ride of the fullback, pull it right out. He was going to carry this ball no matter what. Puts his hand down to get his balance again, and then goes for as far as he can go. And a great effort by Woodard to bring him down.
And if you didn't think Harbaugh was fast, that's a good indication, as he simply outran David Wilcox. It took Eli Woodard to catch up to him and put an end to things.
All right, red zone possession here for Clearview.
Handoff, touchdown, Clearview. Henry Wilmer.
Great job on that counter at that point. Great. Now that will definitely keep you going, because now that you've scored, you realize you could have had another touchdown, and that'll help their offense tremendously. Great drive for Clearview. Harbaugh is interesting. He's probably over 100 yards passing, and he's probably over 100 yards rushing today. Kind of an interesting situation.
It is. That's an excellent point. Now he'll take the point after. As if he hasn't had a busy enough night. Let's take a look at Harbaugh's handoff to Wilmer here.
Boy, great blocking at the point of attack, and he just wanted to score. That's a great job.
(36-13) now.
Yeah, it's interesting in a situation that's the situation with football, like baseball or anything else, is injuries are all part of the game. Now, would the Checo have made a difference in tonight's game? Very possibly. Would he have made a difference to make 24 different points? Probably not. But we all kinds of, you have to be able to overcome injuries. Sometimes you just can't go.
You know, it's been my experience that a lot of times when you lose a big player, your team tends to step up.
That's a good point. I agree.
And, you know, at this point, I don't think it's a question of whether or not Clearview didn't step up. I just think Eastern, we talked about the positive week they had at practice. And, you know, you look at some of the talent they have. We've talked in great detail about, you have Gardner, whose sister's a world-class sprinter, and you have Flacco, whose brother is an NFL quarterback, and you have the number 7 rated player in the country. I mean, you're talking about some serious talent there.
And I don't want to add anything into that because Eastern's a good football team. And again, they've only lost to 2 good football teams that are there. So I think they're going to make some noise as the season comes out. They beat Washington Township. Washington Township hasn't lost since that game. So they're a good football team. Looks like a situation here. Eastern's going to their hands team, expecting an onside kick coming up from Clearview.
Harbaugh will kick it away. And the kick is received, the squib, by Gardner. And Eastern, again, with possession with 8:35 left and a 23-point lead.
Now, it's an interesting situation for Eastern because it's hard to call off the dogs. It really is.
Well, I mean, it's a 3-possession game, which sounds like a lot, but, you know, a turnover, and then it's a 2-possession game, and then, you know, you stop them one time on defense and onside kick, and all of a sudden, you know, the home crowd goes home happy. So I don't think if you're Coach Dan Spittle, you can afford to do that.
I agree with you. I think you have to continue to run your offense and do the things you do well.
We've seen a lot of crazy things in sports before, Fred.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Take them out.
First down and 10 for Eastern. at the 35-yard line. Coming onto the field late is Nicholas, who caught the touchdown pass from Flacco earlier. Inside handoff. And again, not a whole lot there. I'm sure one of the discussions they had with all of their running backs was make sure we're holding on to that football.
Right, and then the second factor is when you're looking at this game is how much do you want to risk Tom Flacco in this situation? If I were coaching him, I'd want that 6 minutes or 8 minutes to go through really good because I know we got a game next week.
No.
Flacco, by the way, has been banged up this year. He suffered an injury, and he's just starting to get back to 100%. So you see the season he has had thus far, but now you start to see some of his mobility coming back. It kind of manifested itself. It's an injury in his upper back that really hampered his leg, believe it or not. Again, another carry.
And another positive result for Clearview in the fact that they're swarming to the football, they're keeping going, and hopefully those unsportsmanlike penalties are gone. They're just going to go back to play good football. Interesting here now. Do you throw?
Well, again, I think we talked about that before, Fred. You know, you can't just simply sit on the football. So, you know, if you trust your quarterback, you say, why not? Conversely, you might say, hey, well, if you trust your defense, why? Right?
That's true. I agree. I'd be throwing.
Third down. Flacco out of the shotgun. 3 receiver set. And he'll just hand it off. And around. And brought down on the play. Unfortunately, we were not given a name for number 34.
But it was a good run. It was interesting, and I was watching Tommy Flacco and how he was set. The back judge, all the way to the back, starts a countdown with 5 seconds left. Tommy Flacco was watching him, and as soon as he started his count, that's when he ran the play.
How about that?
Pretty heady.
Again, that speaks to what we mentioned before in terms of Flacco, and he's not just an athlete.
Garcia's back deep for the Pioneers, number 3, Brian Parks at the Parkwood Eastern.
You know, when you have a school like Stanford recruiting you.
Yeah, you're only the best.
Yeah, you're not just an athlete.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Fourth down, and Hart will punt it away. I'll angle it towards the sideline, and it'll bounce back and be down at the 34.
Number 2, Ryan Delaney, downs it for Eastern.
Well, there's still time. I think Clearview will try to set up and try to move down the field one more time. I think they'll keep their offense in, and they are their number 1 offense. It'll be a good workout if they could get down and score. There are no morale touchdowns, but I think for Clearview, they'd like to put a 20 on the board.
First down and 10 for the Pioneers at their 34. Harbaugh hands it right up the middle, and Clearview gaining large chunks at this point across midfield now. Still no whistle. They're trying to rip the football out. Unable to do so. A big carry here and a big first down for the Pioneers. That once again is Joseph Cole.
Yes, and again, back with that fullback being the key for the flex bone option. Our viewers will probably wonder, how come Clearview can move the football now? Well, there's a bit of relaxing that's done by the defense when the game gets a little bit out of hand, and that's always a concern to the coach, that you have to play to the last whistle.
Of course, that was a controversy earlier in the season with Tampa Bay and the Giants about playing to the last whistle.
Oh, boy, that's for sure. But that was with the replacement referees were there, too, I
well,
think.
That's true, although,
so,
you know, one might argue you see some of the games recently and you're
yeah,
not sure.
there's no difference, I agree. That's a very, very good point.
Yeah, I think they were put in a no-win situation, frankly.
I agree. The situation now is that basically Clearview is playing off of pride. It's good to see they're still moving the football and haven't given up. Here's the option.
Harbaugh pitches, trying to cut it back is Cole, and he'll be brought down.
Now, Mitch will learn when he sees the tape again on this tomorrow, but when you run the option and you're going outside, you have to run at the man that is supposed to hit you, because what happened there, as soon as he took the step towards him, the man went outside and he pitched the ball. One guy was able to play 2. He'll learn from that, and that'll make him a better player as the remaining 5 or 6 games come in the season.
It was actually Karasinas who carried the football. A big loss will bring up a very long 3rd down. We'll call it 14. Clock continues to move. 4 minutes and 15 seconds left now in this 4th quarter with Eastern in command, 36-13. Harbaugh back to pass, a very deep drop. Harbaugh sets up the screen pass, has his man. It's Karasinas. Karasinas picks up about 6.
Sometimes that gives it away when you drop back so far so quickly. You know it's going to be a screen. Clearview's going to go here. There's no reason to punt. If you hand back the ball, it's going to be on the 48-yard line. Try to put some confidence in your team and get a 1st down, but I think we got a timeout coming up first.
Timeout called by Clearview. 3:37 remaining in this football game. We mentioned that Clearview came in tonight with a 4-1 mark, defeating Winslow, Cumberland, and Shawnee. They'll go down tonight to 4-2, and next week they play a solid Triton team, and then it's Washington Township and finally Kingsway. You know, with this new football conference, Fred, you know, things are a little bit tougher.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Hamilton is going to come into the Tri-County Conference for the 2014-2015 season. That'll come in the mix, and
I believe Winslow as well.
Yeah, they're discussing on that, and I hear there possibly might be another team coming from the Cal at the same time. There's also rumors flying around that the Cal itself wants to merge with the
Trico?
No, with the WJFL
yes.
into that super conference. The only one who's very much against that is St. Joe Hamilton, because the WJFL groups by size, and that would put St. Joe's with Pittman and Clayton, and that wouldn't be good.
No. In fact, they bumped up in size this year.
Yes, yes.
4th down now for the Pioneers.
Short punt.
Harbaugh gets flushed out, throws it up, and it's kind of a jump ball, and it's caught. Nair Nelson comes away with the football, and I didn't see, but the defensive back simply had his back to the play, and Nair Nelson just waited for it to come down to Mother Earth.
Yeah, and there's an axiom that goes in. Sometimes it's better for the ball to be thrown short.
Yep.
Because the defender was kept going back, the receiver saw it, reacted to it, caught the football, 1st down for Clearview.
1st and 10, 3:12 remaining now, and Clearview continuing to move the football. Handoff, Harbaugh keeps, Harbaugh tries to avoid tackles, he does! Harbaugh sprints, touchdown!
Wow, what an effort by Mitchell Harbaugh. He's set to give the ball to the fullback, pulled it out, got hit himself, backed up, broke that tackle into the end zone. Incredible effort.
Again, we talked about this before, that this is a team that has not given up, and they've come roaring back here to make it interesting.
Yeah, and I think that's when you just hit it right to the cake. Now they can, even though they lose, they can say, you know what, we fought to the end and we showed we could do it. We get a chance to see this again. Watch Harbaugh. He rides Coles, pulls it out of the back of him, breaks to the outside, gets hit, doesn't keeps those legs moving, then just runs right to the end zone. He literally pulled the football out of the fullback's hands at that particular time. Touchdown Clearview. Great job, Mitchell.
Emiliano Andujar just trying to dive and stop Harbaugh, and Harbaugh just avoiding Andujar for the touchdown. 36-20 with 2:58 remaining, and now I don't think, undoubtedly, we're going to see an onside.
Oh, I think you have to at this time, only because legitimately you're 2 scores away.
Right.
So, and also now to Dan Spittle, you're stuck because you're got a 2-score lead. Do you just run the football? Because you obviously want to use as much clock. Clearview's got 3 timeouts.
2 times. They did call 1 timeout.
That's correct. They don't put it on the board. I can blame the scoreboard operator. That's correct. You're right. Right before the 4th down play.
Right. $36-20 your score. Well, Harbaugh, as we mentioned, he's really illustrated some toughness.
He's a tough kid. There's no doubt about it.
Some athleticism.
And some good common sense decisions that he made. Now it's funny, you go back and you look, that ball that was fumbled on the 2-yard line.
How that changes the complexion
Boy,
of
isn't
things.
that the truth?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say this ball's coming towards us.
I think that's right.
Our ball.
Doesn't going to go 10 yards.
Picks it up, and it does not go 10 yards.
Watch out.
And they will fall on the football. It literally travels 1.5 yards.
Yeah.
It's not a round ball. A lot of funny things can happen.
Oh my God, it never bounces the same way twice.
So with 2:58 left, Eastern will look to run out the clock. And still too much time to take a knee, but essentially they will most likely keep the ball on the ground.
Perfect. Well, now we'll check the schedule now coming up. Eastern's going to go into another easy game. They get to play the Cherokee Chiefs next week.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier for them.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, it's like baseball. It's the guy who's in when
Second offense is in for Eastern.
34 on the carry.
That'll be very close to a first down. The referees will keep the clock moving.
Garpino on the
After
tackle.
Cherokee, they go on and take on Winslow Township and then wrap things up with Lenape. With all due respect to Winslow and Lenape, probably two of their easier games. And frankly, Cherokee this year is not the Cherokee of past. But again, PJ Megan always does a great job.
He
there.
does, and they're always dangerous. They always play well at their place. It's never, and that's what with the new schedules. It's really not an off week anymore.
No.
I'm heading there.
2:05 remaining here. Second down, and again Eastern continuing to pound the football on the ground. That will be more than enough for a first down. Clock continues to move. 1:50 left. Stick around. We will have a post-game show for you. Coach Dan Spittle of the Eastern Vikings, hopefully, along with T.J. Gardner and Tommy Flacco. 1:35 and counting now. Eastern can take a knee and run things out. Of course, Clearview does have 2 timeouts remaining. Out of the eye, Levikoff, your quarterback. And a gain of about 5.
Sal Picone on the tackle.
Clearview's Sal Picone, sophomore defensive tackle. Credited with the play. Second down, we'll call it 5. Again, 50 seconds remaining here, and Eastern can take a knee here and look ahead to next week when they take on one of their primary rivals in Cherokee. Levikoff will keep. And Levikoff on his feet, brought down. He'll have enough for a first down. And that will likely be the last play of this evening as the clock continues to move. Now they hold it as they move the change. 26 seconds remaining. Eastern, again, coming into this game with a mark of 3-2, losing to an excellent Williamstown team last week and a fine Timber Creek team in week 2 with wins over Washington Township, Cherry Hill East, and Rancocas Valley. And now they will add Clearview to the teams that they have defeated. Eastern victorious here over Clearview at the final whistle. The final score, the Eastern Vikings 36, the Clearview Pioneers 20. Stick around, we'll have post-game interviews and a wrap right here on GCEN Channel 5.
Hi, this is Fred Swartz back again here with quarterback Tom Flacco, Eastern High School winner today, 36-20 over Clearview. Tom, I got to see Joe for 4 years play at Audubon. Are you better than him?
Yeah, you know. Yeah, I'm better than him. My brother Joe, I'm the athletic one. He's the dorky one out of the family.
I think that's a great thing to be said one way or the other. Tell us a little bit about your preparation for tonight's game.
Coming into the game, we knew they were a physical team, and we knew that they were going to bring it on the defensive line, but we figured we had them beat talent-wise in the athletic positions, so we figured we'd get the ball to them and make some plays, and that's what we did.
And you certainly did. When you drop back, do you ever think about running all the time, or do you want to throw the ball first?
I look to throw first, definitely, and if the guy's open, I throw it to him. If he's not, I look to run the ball, make a play.
Now, from being an old coach, I just got to tell, one time you ran out around the left end and got a first down, and you were near the out of bounds, and you lowered your shoulder for more yards. Did you do that on purpose, or is that something they tell you to do the slide tackle?
Yeah, my coaches are always telling me the slide, but I feel like that's given up. So I feel like I can beat the guy, and usually I mean, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but I feel like I'm going to do it every time, so I try to.
Well, outstanding game, Tom. We're looking for more from you for the season.
Thank you.
Over here with TJ Gardner, and TJ, obviously a phenomenal game, I think, on both sides of the football, a big interception, but let's talk about you offensively. One of the best plays, I've been doing high school football and college football now for probably about 15, 16 years. One of the most memorable plays I've seen. You know, kind of walk us through the play.
It was a stretch play. I got the rock. I got to the outside. I didn't see anything there. I turned around, cut back field. There was a whole lot of field open. My line just kept blocking. You got to thank those guys for putting up the effort they did. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have scored. So I just seen open field, just kept cutting it up and thought, make a play.
You know, when you have a play where it looks like you're going to take a loss 3-4 yards, the coaches tell you, listen, just shut it down and try to regroup for the next one, or they say, listen, TJ, be creative?
Well, a lot of the coaches trust my athletic ability, but there's some plays where they do tell me to just shut it down, just get the yards I can, but in my mind, I'm thinking make a play. I got to make a play for my team, so I just try to break the big one every time.
You know, Freddie was joking with Tom about his bloodlines. You got some pretty good bloodlines, too. English Gardner, of course, a world-class sprinter now at the University of Oregon. I got to ask you this. Who's faster?
I'm definitely faster than my sister. She's a great athlete. I love my sister, and she's doing great up in there at Oregon. I think I can beat her in the race, though.
Well, I'm sure that you'll want to send this DVD over to English out in Oregon. But a tremendous job on your part. I wish you the best of luck in the playoffs. Again, the final score here from Clearview Eastern on top, 36-20. And Fred, this is a Clearview team that comes out, and the first quarter just seemed like they couldn't find their sea legs, and Eastern really took advantage.
Absolutely, and I think we talked in the beginning of the game that Clearview has to move the football, and they didn't get a first down the entire quarter, and that just took it away from them. The good thing for Clearview, they never quit. They fought to the last whistle. They have to go home with that.
You know, when you look at this Eastern team, let's talk a little bit about Eastern here. They had 2 losses to 2 outstanding programs, Williamstown and Timber Creek. You know, this is a team that's going to have to be reckoned with come playoff time.
I was very, very impressed. They can play defense. They can run. They can throw. They can do all the things that are needed to beat you. They just have to have the confidence to do it. I think they got it tonight.
You know, we saw Gardner, we saw Flacco, we saw Woodard, but, you know, they have some other pieces too.
Oh, I'm going to say if I were giving out a game ball tonight, it would be to the offense and defensive line from Eastern, because Flacco I think he was only sacked once the entire day, and he had plenty of time to throw, and they just literally controlled Clearview's offense all the way until the fourth quarter.
Well, this was a lot of fun. You know, 2 teams that have never played each other on the football field. Eastern victorious 36-20. Unfortunately, they won't face each other again, because now in South Jersey, it's Group 5. So Group 5 Eastern to the playoffs, and Clearview likely on to the playoffs in Group 4. But a good game here, and they'll probably see each other again, you know, come next year. Your final score here from Clearview High School. It was Eastern 36, Clearview 20. For my partner, Fred Swartz, my director, Stan Ritter, and all the crew, I'm Rob Chris. Thanks for joining us. Good night, everybody.